Okay. Well, welcome to Wednesday night to Elements. And tonight we're going to be talking about Element 10, which really surprised me. So first of all, I'm Nancy Peterson. This is Clark Peterson. We're Peterson Health Coaching. And we're here to encourage you, but what we know is that knowledge is powerful, and there's a lot of information out there about diets, nutrition, all that. And I have to admit, after
it's my meeting for Wednesday.
coaching for 5 years, I have found that I believed a lot of things that weren't true. And now that we really do know the truth and we know what works, there's no doubt about that. It worked for us when we thought nothing would work. And it not only worked to get the weight off, but it worked to help keep the weight off. And the interesting thing, we just did a Facebook post, right, Clark?
Yeah.
We were saying that we had put a few pounds on after the wedding, right? And we just were, maybe going outside we kind of normally would. It was kind of a celebratory time, right? And we hopped on the scale this morning and we're like, okay, well, we want to take care of that. So, but the great thing is this, you put on a couple of pounds, and in the past you might have said, oh man, this is the end, why do I even try? But you don't feel that way when you know the success of the program. You're like, okay, I put a couple pounds on because I probably ate a few too many things that I normally do. And so you know how to take it off immediately, right? So it is a great thing. So that being said, we're going to be talking about the key role of hydration in reaching your healthy weight. Okay, it's not just about how much water you're drinking to hydrate your body, but it actually impacts you getting to your goal weight. So I want you to kind of keep it in that frame of reference, that it's not just about the health part of it, but it's actually going to aid you in reaching your goal. So I'm going to ask you a question. So please feel free to answer. If you're on mute, you can come off mute. But it's what percentage of your body's weight is water? Any guesses? Do, 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 do. All right, anybody got a guess?
I'm not sure, but it's a huge amount. I know. I mean, it's not like just half of your. I don't think it's like just half of your body weight. I think it's more than that, but I'm not sure what percentage it
What
is.
is Betty saying?
What are you saying?
80?
Are you saying 80?
80, 90%, somewhere there.
80 to 90%? Anyone else?
Yeah, I took it off of mute.
Okay. All right.
70%.
I'm going to tell you that about 60%. 60% of your weight is water. Now, I just want you to know that surprised me, because you think about, okay, you got your bones, right? You got your flesh, you got your veins, you've got your organs, and yet 60% is water. And the reason that really impacted me is that sometimes you hop on the scale after really being on plan, right on target, right? You hop on the scale, and what happens? It shows that maybe you lost 1/10 of a pound, or maybe you gained a little bit, or maybe you stayed the same, and it's disappointing, right? It's disappointing. But when I saw that 60% of your body is water, think about it, guys. Say your fat is coming out of your cells. So you basically, you're on program, you're losing the fat, which is what we want to, right? But that fat cell is filling with water and it hasn't flushed out of your system yet. And it's basically holding the weight, right? Now, the science of it is it will eventually go and you'll lose the weight. But in the meantime, that's a very discouraging thing, right? So it made all the sense to me more. I mean, I knew about that, but then when I saw that your body was 60% water, I was like, okay, now it really makes sense. Because think about how you'd have to manage that. Do you always just have the exact amount of water? Does your body always use the exact amount of water? No. I mean, maybe, don't want to be crude, but maybe you didn't pee as much that day. No, you know,
Exercise or sleep.
yeah, you don't, maybe you didn't sweat as much as you usually do. I don't know. But the whole thing is, it's interesting to think, okay, so what does that tell you? It tells you, yeah, just like your heart is really important in your body. If your body, 60% of its weight is water, I would say your water is pretty much important, right? Right? So if you're drinking the ample amount of water that you should be, and we're going to be talking what that should be, but if you are, what are some of the benefits that your body enjoys from that? And so I was looking through the element, and it was fascinating because one is, of course, we kind of knew this one, right? It removes toxins.
Yeah, me and Richie shook on it.
But listen to this. And unhealthy substances stored in your fat cells.
Ooh,
Now, did you know that? Unhealthy substances. So what does that mean? Stored in your fat cells. Now, I can't say this for sure, but what I do know is I do understand that when you have unhealthy fat, it can lead to cancer. Now, I don't know the science. I'm not saying that that's an absolute, but what I'm saying is if there are unhealthy substances in your fat cells and water helps to get rid of them, that's just an interesting thing to think about, right? Okay, here's another one. It helps your organs to operate properly. So if you're not giving your body enough water, I mean, have you ever met somebody, I have, that you say to them, so how much water do you drink a day? And they say, I have a cup of coffee in the morning. Like that counts. And you seriously, I have clients that absolutely did not drink water.
or soda.
Well,
Lots of soda.
they drink soda. Well, and we'll be talking about that too. But
Okay,
so anyway, okay, how about this? If you don't have enough water, and water is a source to move nutrients throughout your body, that tells me that nutrients may not get to exactly where they need to go, right? So it moves nutrients, it moves hormones, it moves antibodies, and water moves oxygen. Now, I didn't know that. I don't know what I thought. I thought blood moved oxygen. I don't know what I thought, but
well, it does,
okay.
but water helps.
Water helps, I guess, with that. So you think, okay, it's just a glass of water. But it isn't just a glass of water. It's really important. Okay. Also, it's essential to your kidneys to give it the ability. Okay, if you don't give your body enough water, your kidneys struggle to filter and eliminate byproducts and toxins. So it affects the function of your kidneys. And lastly, without, okay, this is really gonna hit home. Without sufficient water, your body is forced to recycle dirty water affecting your body's functions. Okay, so you're not getting in enough water. What happens? Your body's not going to release all of your water, right? Otherwise, what would happen to you? Right? So what does it do? Instead of you getting rid of the water that's already gone through your system, it's like a fountain that the water gets dirty and it keeps cycling through, right? Yeah, it's pretty crazy, I think. All right. This is going to blow your mind when you hear this. Are you ready? Every day you lose up to 12 cups of water from your body every day. And you might say to yourself, oh, I know I don't go to the bathroom and there's 12 cups. I know. Well, it's true. However, you actually lose 2 cups of water with perspiration every day. 2 cups, okay? That's this. You lose that much water from perspiration. Now, I don't think I perspire, but obviously I'm wrong.
You are.
I am wrong. So the medical science says I lose this much water perspiring. Then I lose this much water peeing. Excuse my language.
Urination.
Urination, thank you. He's trying to keep me on the right track. All right. But that's not the end of it, guys. Do you know you lose anywhere from this to this much from breathing? Breathing. Up to 2 to 4 cups of water from breathing every day. Per day, okay? And lastly, you lose half of this from your feet. Now, really, I mean, honestly, when I read that, I was like, yeah. Now, if I didn't know it was written by a doctor who has all the science behind, I would think the guy had lost his mind. Half of this comes out of your feet. So you don't want those sweaty sneakers, right? So that is a total of approximately 12 cups of water a day. 12 cups of water a day that you're losing. 12 cups equals 96 ounces. 96 ounces of water. So we tell everybody, right? Drink minimum 64 ounces of water. But being a math person, I love math. When I saw this, I'm like, wait a minute, numbers don't match up. If we lose about 12 cups of water a day, why are we only drinking 8?
You're just surviving.
No, I mean, I never knew this. I love the elements because I always learn something new. I mean, I knew water was important, but did I know it was that important? Did I know I lost a cup of water out of my feet? No, I didn't know. Or from breathing, right? So if you don't want that dirty water going through your system, right? So I have to tell you, we put this together, I put these notes together yesterday, and I was like so convicted. I'm like, I am not drinking enough water. So we are on this like warpath about drinking water today. So, and I am, and you know what, I sometimes I think, well, I'm drinking an iced coffee or I'm doing something, but you know what, if you put anything in that, it doesn't count as water. So just water is like the best thing for you. Now you may say, well, yeah, I get really tired of drinking water, right? So there are things you can do. You can put a little flavoring in it. if you need to. You can drink sparkling water, right? That if you want something with a little lemon in it, that's really good for your system. It alkalines your system. Yeah. But the reality is you need to be thinking that it's no longer just for these. I mean, if you really want the best health, right? It's really more like 6 of these.
They recommend
Yeah.
that you drink half of your body weight in ounces. So if I weigh 100 pounds, I'm supposed to, or 150 pounds, I'm supposed to do 75 ounces.
So anyway, that's just, I thought that was really interesting. So let's talk about kind of I mean, we've kind of talked about the science of it. Let's talk about in real practical terms, all right? So when I've committed, or when we've committed to drinking all this water, what are the benefits that happen for us in terms of, okay, remember what we said in the beginning, in terms of how it affects our healthy weight. Okay, we're moving it from not just your health. Okay, it's good for you. It's good for you to drink that water, but how is it good for you to drink that water in that it affects your weight loss and your weight, maintaining your weight? Okay, so one of the things was, first of all, if you're making an intentional effort to drink all that water, you are going to feel more satisfied. Okay, just like I was this morning, we were home working, and I think I had a fueling like an hour before, and all of a sudden I was starting to feel hungry. And I was thinking, that is weird, because usually I'm absolutely fine. Well, it was because I wasn't drinking water. And I realized that because I was busy doing some other things, right? And I saw my big glass of water on my desk. And so what I did is I said, no, it's not hunger at all. This is all about water. Okay. So that's what I started doing. So what that does in turn is it keeps you from overeating. So one, you feel more full and satisfied, but secondly, it keeps you from overeating. So if you're feeling like you're leaning towards looking for that little something because you feel a little peckish and you want to grab something, most likely it's because you're thirsty. We do confuse hunger with thirst. And we read something too that was really interesting, that Dave Goff wrote about hunger. Remember what he said?
No, that was Doug
No, it was
or Dave.
It was Dave Goff.
I don't know.
Okay, anyway, I'll have to look that up and get it to you guys. Anyway, we had one of our coaches in our line had written something about what he realized was, I know what it was. Okay, this is what he realized. He said he's really working hard to get off his last bit of weight. Okay. And he's just made this really serious commitment. He really wants to do this. And what he realized is that when he would get hungry and want to like automatically grab something to eat, what he realized was really his body did not need that. And he was using it as like almost like a comfort thing. And that it was like he had to face what he was doing. I don't know if that makes sense, but
What was the deep thing going on in him? Was it hunger or was it emotion?
decreased, right? Was it stress? Was it boredom? Was it whatever is going on? You know, I mean, we're just complex beings, right? And there's a lot that goes on in our minds, and so that can affect us. So anyway, to move on. Okay, it removes toxins, but this was something else that Dr. Anderson talked about. It actually helps to preserve your cells in your body. And I thought that was really interesting. I mean, we think about, preservatives, right, that keeps food better or keeps whatever. But water actually acts as a preservative for your cells in your body. So if you deprive your body of the amount of water it truly needs, there is a negative effect on your cells. So I thought that was really interesting too. It prevents dehydration, which is kind of, common sense. Of course it would, if you're not hydrated, you're dehydrated, right? But dehydration is, especially, not everybody on here is a mile high where they live like we are. But being a mile high, you actually dehydrate faster than like sea level or whatever. And on top of that, we're in Arizona, which is a dry climate. So even more so, we need to be really conscientious about staying hydrated just because of those two effects. And you don't notice it. That's the interesting thing. You don't necessarily notice it. So, prevents, do you ever be like in the afternoon and you're kind of tired and you're thinking, well, maybe I need a little coffee break or something to kind of give me a little boost? If you aren't drinking enough water, that can actually make you feel fatigued. And I absolutely have experienced that. And I have mistakenly tried to use coffee as the, solution to that. And water, like today, I feel so energized today. I had no, and Clark will tell you, I had no coffee since this morning, which very often I'll have coffee during the day. But what I have done today, so I'm like living proof, guys. I have been drinking water so much more than I ever have. And I feel energized. So that it will help you. It will help you to really live at a higher level because you won't feel that kind of drag. And also, it actually helps you to think clearer. So have you ever experienced brain fog? Oh yeah, me too. And I actually think I can get some brain fog if I over caffeinate too, which doesn't make sense, but it's true. I think your brain just gets, but like today, I feel kind of like sharp as a pin because I feel like I know the water is helping me in that regard. So super important, super important. Okay, now all of you that are still on your weight loss journey, this one really impacts you. Drinking the right amount of water helps your metabolism to operate the way it should. So we all talk about your metabolism, and a lot of times as we get older, we think, oh, our metabolism has slowed down. That's why I'm not losing the weight as fast. That's why I'm not. So if you really want to maximize what you're doing, really focus on getting in the right amount of water every day. And I'm going to start saying, I think it should be more than 64 ounces. If you're losing 12 cups a day, then you need to be drinking more than 8 cups a day, right? Okay. All right. And you will like this one too, if you're on your weight loss journey. Drinking the right amount of water helps your liver convert fat to energy. Now, who would have ever thought that? All right. Turning your fat to energy, the vehicle it uses is water. So if you're not getting in the right amount of water, you could have reduced calorie count and be perfect on the 5-in-1 program, but maybe you're not going to lose quite as fast if you're not taking in the right amount of water.
I don't remember.
Right? Okay. So my question right now is, do you struggle getting in your water every day? I did. And I
definitely
really
am.
think part of it for me was just lazy. I mean, we talk a lot about tracking in Optavia, and some people, like
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a rebel. So when someone says to me, you know, Nancy, you really should track how much water you take in, I'd be like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. But now I'm seeing the value of it because I know based on really looking at what I've been doing and what I need to do, that I was not drinking the right amount of water. But I would not know that if I hadn't looked at it up, figured out how much, you know, like I had a big glass of water this morning that was like 32 ounces. So, I mean, I was watching what I was doing today. I was being very intentional and conscious about it. So are you?
These are the new things I'm trying this month. A cookie dough bar and cinnamon cereal.
Hey, Jennifer. Um, So-
When I was first started and stuff, yeah, I was really tracking it and everything, but I've really kind of gotten away from it
Yeah.
and, you know, making excuses but the interesting thing is the other day, I hadn't really drank enough water during the day and I had a cup of our big jug of water sitting there and stuff. And I just started drinking and then it tasted so satisfying. It was like, you know, I had some tea without sugar in it and stuff, but the water was just like very satisfying and I couldn't stop drinking it. But I still need to push myself and even though I know that it's satisfying and it tastes satisfying, I still have to push myself to drink it and instead of grabbing another cup of coffee or an iced coffee or whatever, you know, tea, you know, whatever it might be. But it just got, when I was drinking it, I'm just like, wow, this is really satisfying. Why don't I drink more of it?
And I so agree with you, Gloria. I'm glad you brought that up because I notice when I drink anything other than water, it does not satisfy my thirst like water. Just doesn't. So there's a few ways you can tell, even if you haven't, you know, really focused on how much water you're drinking, but if you're just busy during the day, say you're traveling or whatever, and you're kind of maybe lost track of what you're doing. If you experience any of these things that I'm going to tell you, it means you are not getting enough water. Okay. One is you feel tired. So if you're starting to feel tired, and I mean, it's one thing if you didn't sleep the night before and you're feeling tired, okay, there's like a reason for that. But if you had a good night's sleep, you've eaten well, and you're feeling like you're dragging, chances are you're not getting enough water. Another thing is you may have that cloudy head, you know, kind of your thinking isn't clear, could be water too. So you should be thinking, like if you notice these things about yourself, try to pay attention to whether you're getting in sufficient water. If you have a headache, could be water, not enough water. And last is this, and this is a great indicator. And again, don't want to gross you out, but if your urine is a dark color, you aren't getting enough water. You're really, especially with us focusing on taking in the right amount of water, your urine really should be almost clear. Okay. So if it's anything other than that, all it is a sign to you, hey, maybe I need to be drinking some more water. Okay. So there was one other thing that kind of was really caught my attention. It was at the end of the chapter. And he talks about unhealthy things you can drink that are not good for your hydration. And how he describes it, which I thought was excellent was he said the drinks on the list below not only stimulate insulin and drive glucose into your fat cells, worsen your weight issues, but will actually make it harder to stay hydrated. Okay, did you hear all that? These drinks that I'm going to tell you about are going to do all those things. Stimulate your insulin. You don't want that. Drive your glucose into fat cells. You don't want that, right? Affect your weight issues. You don't want that. We're all working towards a healthy weight, right? And here's the list. Fruit juices, soda, diet soda. I mean, when I read that, I was like, well, because every once in a while I'll have a diet soda, you know, especially like if I'm traveling or something, I'll do that, right? I'm like, I may not now, I don't know. Energy drinks, sports drink. I mean, how many people do energy drinks? And it's not just sugared energy drinks. It's the sugar-free. So I want to make a full confession to you that I have gotten Dutch Brothers Rebels sugar-free, thinking I was doing the right thing. It was the worst thing I could be doing. It was a bad thing. I'm like, okay, I learned something new. Not going to be doing that anymore. So sports drinks, and the last thing is alcohol. So I'm not saying you can't have those. I'm just saying those will affect you in this way. So we just have to be aware of it. That's all. Okay, because remember, nothing is wrong, bad. It's just not. It's just that, especially if you're like in phase 1 of the program, and we're back in phase 1 because we want to get those few pounds up. You want to pay attention to those things because you now know how it affects your body, right? To me, education is so important in this because really for me, I would never have told you it was bad to have a Rebel at Dutch Brothers. Sugar-free, of course. And now I'm like, no, that is not going to help me get to where I want. So anyway, I hope you got something out of that. Any comments? Are you looking at water differently? I guess that's the question.
Yeah, I do have a question though. And I don't remember if it was on the health site or, or making the change site, but I remember a client talking about saying that she one of the things that she didn't care for in this program is all the water that they tell you to drink because she drank too much water and got sick. So can you drink too much water and kind of?
Yes, you can absolutely drink too much water. There are some years ago, and I remember I heard this when I was working at the radio station, that there was some kind of contest that another radio station did. And it was, you had to just, who could drink the most water? And I hate to tell you this, but the person died. Now, if you drink 100 ounces of water, that is not going to happen to you. Your body will do very well. But is there an extreme that can happen? Yes. So I do not recommend that you drink water 24/7 and drink, I don't know how many gallons. That's not. Also, something else to keep in mind is sometimes people, when they do start drinking a lot of water and they're on the 5-in-1, you have to remember it's low sugar, low salt. So if you're drinking a lot of water, you're going to be losing some salt from your body, right? And we're already on a low salt, low sodium, right? So you may, if they start to experience any kind of leg cramps or anything, you need to get some salt to them. And that can be a result of drinking a lot more water. But what should happen based on nutrition support, what they tell us, what should happen is as your body gets used to taking in like 96 ounces or whatever you decide you want to do, your body evens out. It just kind of decide, oh, this is great. This is where I'm at. Okay. And then it's fine. And it also eventually your body gets better. You don't have to get up like 4 times at night. Because your body, and if that is a problem because you're drinking so much water, I recommend you try to front load the day with water, not try to do it all while you're watching TV at night. Because that will be a problem. You will be up in the evening, during the evening,
It will negatively affect the other health issue like sleep.
like sleep. Right, exactly. Okay, did that answer it? Okay. Anyone else? All right. So I have a new commitment to water. After studying this chapter, was like, you know what? I did not give enough credit to how important water is in our health to get to a healthy weight. Not just our health. Okay, do you see the difference? It's that actually helps us to get to a healthy weight by all the things we talked about tonight. So I have a renewed commitment to it, and I hope that maybe some of it resonated with you and that you too will have a new commitment to hydrating well. So, all right. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys all were on. Good to see you all. And we will see you next Wednesday. But you'll only see me next Wednesday because Clark is off to Ireland and he will be back the following week. So, all right. All right. You guys have a great week.
You too.